Right, what's going on, BE3?
What's up?
Jeff Beggins and
Mike Puma.
it's also, I guess, sometimes referred to as the Jeff and Mike show. So anyway,
Might as well keep that theme going.
All right, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to have some fun stripping away every one of your excuses. How about that? And that's really the name of the game, because there is no shortage of topics that we could talk about, and therefore there's no shortage of topics that you can talk about. So we're going to rattle off a bunch of them to make sure that you take some notes, so when you're sitting around saying, I need some more business, you have something to go to post some content and have some fun.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much short
Yeah,
version.
I think today we're going to get very tactical, and we'll even give you a couple platforms and resources that we use on a daily basis that can help you actually execute on some of the things that we're going to talk about.
So let's go macro for a second. So it's all about, we were talking about a little while ago when we were preparing for this, about what the algorithm actually does, right? Which I think is important to think about before you post anything. So let's talk about relevancy and who's looking at what and how things are going. So remind everybody how important it is to start thinking about this one before you even make your first move.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people that don't quite understand, right? They think that they see that they have 500 Facebook friends, and they think when they post something that all 500 are now going to get that into their feed.
Right.
And that's not how it works. If you're lucky, you're getting about 10% of that following actually in their newsfeed, right? So the only way to kind of ensure that they're going to see it and get them to see it more frequently is to actually create content that they engage with. When they engage with it, like it, comment on it, view it for an extended period of time, that is telling the algorithm within that platform that they are interested in that content, right? And therefore they will start to show more of your stuff until they're not interested. So it's important when you're building content to build contextual content to the audience that you have or that you want the attention of, is kind of the key.
Now let's talk about some hacks there too, because let's talk about Gwen, for example. Yep. Gwen's #1 Century 21 agent in the world. Fortunately, she works with our company here, and she does a lot of really cool hand-to-hand combat, simple, free, and easy deals to stay relevant inside her sphere. So talk about what she's doing.
Yeah, I mean, Gwen has a very simple philosophy of she goes and tries to friend as many of her clients, past clients, as she possibly can.
Yep.
And then she will actively go and comment and engage on their photos and their posts. And that tells Facebook that Gwen cares about those people and what they're posting. And so guess what naturally happens? Those people's posts start showing up in Gwen's feed, making it even easier for Gwen to then continuously engage in their content.
And they like Gwen's posts, or they actually like something that then they show up in Gwen's feed as a friend of somebody you may know.
Exactly.
So she sends a friend request to that person, her sphere starts to grow exponentially.
Correct.
And then she posts content there and it becomes relevant.
Yeah. So when you get that little icon top right, when you get someone who sends you a friend request, or if you just go up there and click on that it's like, looks like a little head shot. If you go click on that head that's up there, a list is going to drop down. And these are all people that Facebook believes that you may know based on mutual friends, right? You should go add those people, 5 to 10 a day. Just go add them, right? Yes. You're adding to your sphere. It takes 30 seconds, and you're going to grow that sphere that you then can start to communicate with.
All right, so that's a simple hack.
Yep.
To start going. So then we start talking about relevant content, and I think that's a trap for people, because I think that it starts to paralyze you a little bit. You're like, shit, what am I going to post that's relevant? Because I've got people from my high school and from college and my neighbor and my kid's soccer team and all this other stuff and my neighbors and coworkers, and it's so diverse. How do you possibly come up with anything that's relevant to that universe, right? And I think that's something we need to talk about and reel that back into reality, that you can't, right? There's nothing you're gonna really do that's gonna be a catch-all for everybody that you have.
Yeah.
So how do we kind of reel that back in from tactics to how do we post that to something relevant? And is there one thing, or is there a combination of things we need to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there is one thing, right? I think at the end of the day, I think this is one of the most overthought things when it comes to social media in general. And I think there's a couple things that play into that. I think it's mentality of, being scared, right? You're putting whenever you create content, whenever you create a post, you're putting yourself out there a little bit.
God, this guy's wearing a white jacket, for God's sakes.
And outside of Jeff's hurtful comments about this white jacket, I really like it. And do I spend time crying about it in my pillow at night? Maybe. But nevertheless, I think that's a real issue, right? I think people are concerned when they go to put themselves out there that, what if no one likes it? What if someone makes a negative comment? What if, it doesn't do as well as I want it to do? And so that creates this mindset where then your drunk monkey starts going off and you go, well, maybe I'm not going to post at all then because I don't, want to post anything. Right. Or, they don't care what I'm doing in real estate. That's a common thing. Oh, my friends don't care. Or my friends know I'm in real estate.
They already know I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. And that is a misconception as well. And I've noticed it more and more over the last year or so as we've pushed out more and more content. And I've gotten way more active in the last few months of posting our content on my personal page, which I didn't really do before. I started pushing it out there, and it's been overwhelming how many people I've seen that I see on a somewhat regular basis, but don't interact with all the time, right, that are coming up being like, hey man, I see your stuff. You guys are really, putting out great content, and they're literally complimenting it. Now, obviously those compliments feel good, but more importantly, what that's telling me is it's actually getting out there, right? I'm actually getting people and I'm listening to the market, and they're telling us that they like our stuff. And that's the key. I think that's the second part of this is the only way to know what your sphere is going to like is to play with it, right? Post different stuff. Don't get stuck into one thing at first.
And the way to find out what they like is to also find out what they don't like.
Right.
And it's instant feedback. Right?
Yeah, don't ignore the data, right? If you do an interview with a local mortgage guy and no one watches, and then you do something where it's at a local park and you record the park to show other parents that this free park is awesome and it's got great parking and there's, the playground is awesome and everyone watches, right? Or you get a ton of engagement.
Feedback.
Well, that's feedback. That's telling you that content is going to do better than the other, right? And so then you can build on that.
And then I think it's important to know everyone has your tribe, right? You've got your basic tribe. So if you were to look at your Facebook page or your Instagram followers, you're going to see a common thread, right, amongst most of them. So I think the go-to for you is for you watching, and for us is who is that common tribe? And let's start there. And let's say, how old are the people that are mostly in your network? Probably around your age, because there's mostly like your tribe. And where do they live? What do they do? What kind of education level? What kind of home buying process are they in their life cycle? Right? Those are the things to talk about relevant. I mean, if they're first-time home buyers, maybe talking to the luxury pool guy doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? And if you're working in a market where that makes sense, it might make sense, but you got to have a little self-awareness about what you're actually going through. So I think what we were talking about too is you can't know until you do it. So post out a bunch of content, talk about the park, talk about the mortgage guy. Let's go through a couple things that we could post about.
Okay.
So let's go from sellers or buyers. I think people get paralyzed in that major decision. And I think that's a little micro. I think real estate, right? That we titled this episode Influencing Your Sphere, right? Not sphere of influence, because it's about influencing your sphere. Your sphere is your tribe and your network. And what can you do to stay relevant so they start to think about you when they're at a cocktail party this weekend and somebody's brother's relocating from work, right? When just that peripheral conversation comes up, this is all about getting them to have your face pop up into their mind. That's it.
Yep.
That's the whole thing. And so it's not, hey, Jeff, want to buy a house? Call me. Hey, want to sell your house? Call me. That's not going to work because everybody hates sales. They hate sales pitches, and it's just repulsive, and it doesn't work, and it's insincere, and it's not right.
Yeah.
Right? So versus, I can post some content. Let's say we just did a short version of, hey, this is my friend Mike. Mike is with Mike's Mortgage, and Mike's got something really cool I didn't know about: second home investment properties with a 15% down program at 5% interest. Which may not seem crazy, but let me run some numbers. If you were to buy this unit, put this much down, this is what you can do, and this is the cash flow. And we can have a 4-minute episode about how you can buy a cash flowing beach house that makes sense, and we can post that content.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
But that would not be relevant if you're working in a 25-year-old starter home market.
Correct.
Right? But if you're working in a more affluent market that's more apt to buy a second home, that would be good. And the market will tell you quickly. And this is from your natural market, guys. I'm talking about free organic ads. Now you could do paid on this stuff too, but we're just talking about natural free market on this one.
Correct.
So there's one. So you get your mortgage guy in there. What else could you do? Let's do another quick one that they could do.
I mean, your local electrician, right? Partner with an electrician, partner with a roofer, all the trades, right? All the different trades. If you think take a step back as a homeowner, if you are one, or if you were, your clients, who would they potentially need the most?
What breaks?
Right? And what breaks? What goes wrong? What are they going to need over the course of the thing? Because here's the thing. Even if they're renting right now, right? If you are pushing out content and they see you on a regular basis that you're with the local plumber, the local electrician, the roofer, the AC guy, the lawn guy, all these different places. Yeah. When they buy, right, and they're going to think of you when they start to think of that buying process. Now they buy the house from you. Great. You started a relationship. What you ultimately want is them to think of you when anything goes wrong within that house, right? You want to be top of mind because they're probably not going to do a transaction directly with you for a few more years.
Because they go to work and their neighbor says, oh man, toilet blacked up. What a night. We didn't get any sleep. We had a toilet backup. We had all kinds of plumbing problems. I don't even know what to do. Well, you need to call Mike.
Yeah, and their brain's going to go to you because they saw that video that you did a month ago with a plumber. And ultimately what it's really doing subconsciously is it's branding you as being the guy who knows everyone, right?
That's right.
And that's ultimately what you want.
Be Shit Talk with Mike.
I'm going to write that down. I think I'm going to start that show.
Landscapers, right? Your windows, right? Your doors, your air conditioning. People are in a house. What do you do to upgrade your house? How about what does a cool outdoor kitchen really cost? And bring in the local guy who does outdoor kitchens. What does it really cost to do a pool? How much is it to do a pool?
Fence guy.
How do you finance a pool?
Yep.
Right? Can you get an equity line out of your home? Do you have to pay cash? How does this whole thing work? Could you do an equity line? What could you do an equity line with? Here's Mike from my equity line company, and here's what we're doing. And what does a roof cost? Does it make sense? How about solar panels? Do they make sense? Do tax rebates make a lot of sense? So I don't care if anybody likes any of this content. It's about you're pushing content that 1 week, this section of your sphere is going to engage with and say, that's pretty cool. I've been thinking about solar. Then 3 days later, you do something about the HELOC, home equity guy, and he goes, that's pretty interesting. My mom's thinking about getting a cash out. But so you're getting different people liking different little micro posts, but that's building up your algorithm. You're going to be more relevant to your entire tribe. And then now you're owning their mind share, and everywhere they go around their whole world, you become real estate.
Well, you're doing a couple things. And I think it's important to note that in a social environment, the best part about this is if they don't care about that post that day, they just keep scrolling. It's not that big of an impact. So I don't want you guys to think that by posting this stuff and it's something that you don't think your friends are going to care about. If they don't, they're going to keep scrolling. But we always have a saying that they won't care about it until they do, right? But if you're creating the framework and the habit of posting, then you're going to be there when they do care about it. And that's all that matters.
But get real on this thing, guys, because you need one good appointment a week.
Yep.
Right? Or if you're cranking it, you need one additional appointment a week, right? That's all we're talking about.
Yeah.
So if you don't think by pushing out content that's relevant to somebody, you need one person a week extra or total to get to your business, right? That's going to, in our market, you're making about 130 grand a year with one good solid appointment a week, right? We've done lots of talks on that one. So stop saying, oh my God, I got to get this content out for the masses. You need one person to say, hey, my AC broke. Maybe I should buy a new house because a bunch of shit's breaking in my house, right? That's how the conversation starts. And you say, hey, talk to my loan guy. Let's pull some credit. Let's see where you are. And let's go find your new house. There you go. Right? And it came from your post about a plumber, right? That's how simple this is, guys. And it's free. And it's simple. It's not always going to be, guys. We're going to look back on these and say, man, we could have done all that for free.
Well, and here's the other thing. You are creating a potential framework for when you do or are able to run paid, right? Because if I'm pushing out free content, when I go to a paid strategy, and I can show you guys how to do this, all you need to do now is go into Audience Manager. You can go back to all your old posts and click them and build audiences of people who engaged with that post. And then either retarget those individuals or build lookalike audiences off people who engage with that, which now the Facebook algorithm is going to say, okay, who engaged in this plumbing post? All right, now we're going to go find 2 million other people, right? Or depending on how niche your area is, 100,000 other people that look just like those people, right? Demographically. And now we can retarget them. So now it's just creating a whole possibility for you, but that's never even an option that's on the table unless you're actually pushing out content every day.
And to that point, you want to get a little more tactical on your topics at that point. So
Correct.
If it's, should you even think about selling your house? Why you should never sell your house?
Yeah. That would,
right? What if there was a topic and you said, and we say this all the time to sellers, we want to sell our house. No, don't sell your house. It's the last thing in the world you should do. That house that you have is the best asset you have held long term. It's going to make you a ton of money. So is it possible for you to do whatever else you're thinking about doing and keep this house as a rental? Or do you need the cash? If you need the cash, let's talk about selling it. If you don't need the cash, freaking keep it.
Same thing. I would do the same thing.
People would engage with that content and say, hey man, thanks for that. I never thought about that. I didn't know you can get a loan. I didn't know you could rent the house and count the lease as an offset for your income so it doesn't hurt your credit to go buy a new house. I had no clue. I'd love to keep my house.
Well,
and then you start to retarget that audience. That's showing intent.
But it shows intent and it shows authenticity, right? Authenticity is so important, and that's what it shows. It shows that you are willing to put your needs behind their needs, right? And that's all that matters. And so I think there's a video there of why you should rent and not buy, right? Because there are circumstances when you should rent. Getting divorced, probably should rent, right? Because if you're going through that process, you may not want to buy when you're about to get divorced or going through it. There's certain situations where it just makes sense to rent. And so being honest about that and putting it out there is only going to help you.
Or make sure if you're going to buy, you know it's not your forever house, only buy in a place where you can legally do Airbnbs.
Be smart.
Give yourself some options in the future.
Be smart,
But post this out and say, look, if you're a first-time home buyer, form an LLC with a few of your buddies and go buy the biggest piece of crap you can, the nicest piece of crap you can afford. Right. And keep it as an investment house later. Right. Those are the type of things you need to be just getting out there, because I mean, we've talked about a ton of topics and people can pick and choose those two. A couple other ones. Home partners, right? If home partners is not in your market, or if it is in your market and you're not taking advantage of it, I think you're out of your mind. To have a couple $1 billion cash buyer in your pocket that's buying homes for people that are renting is a pretty cool strategy. We do a lot of work with home partners, and you could do just a quick little 2-minute blurb about that. And then your friends in your tribe and your sphere that are renting are going to listen. The people that aren't renting aren't going to care. They're going to keep on scrolling. Who cares? But you're going to get some engagement with somebody else. And then, did you know how important debt to income ratio really was? What does it really take to buy a house? Do you need 20% down? Or can you buy with no money down? Would that be an interesting topic you could do? And bring in your mortgage person. You say, shit, I don't understand mortgages. Well, the mortgage guy does. Sit his butt down next to you, turn on your iPhone and do a little 2-minute video with him about what it really takes to buy a house.
Practical things there too. How is a credit score actually impacted, right? What makes it go up? What makes it go down? How does it determine how much it goes up, how much it goes down? These are things that people are constantly thinking about, right? I had someone the other day I was talking to that had a 570 credit score. They had their credit checked. It dropped to 550 instantly, right? Her whole thing was why? What decided that it should drop 20 points? Right? How does debt to income play into that? Then you get
strategy and say, if you were to pay that credit card down $60 on the 9th when it re-reports to your bureau, you're probably up 30 points.
Exactly. But how often
don't reapply to your loan officer until the 10th, because when they're going to pull you new credit. But that's strategy that you provide with value.
And you can learn, right? And now they're learning, and you're providing value.
And then somebody who really attaches to that type of content is a great partner for home partners.
Absolutely.
Or somebody that's going to incubate him to become a buyer next year or 6 months from now. Tips and tricks on staging the properties. Right? What if you walk to one of your properties and says, guys, let me show you why this is a really bad idea to put this house on the market as it is right now. It's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. Perfect example. We've got an auction property we're about to auction here in a couple weeks. It's $1.6 million. Beautiful house on the water, arguably a teardown, right? So a $1.6 million beautiful piece of dirt that has a decent house on top of it, I should say. So we always stress and force our clients to do a pre-home inspection. We call it certified pre-loved homes. And so that we just got the home inspection report. I was just looking at it with our agent a little while ago, and nothing was bad on it, but there were just some things that they've just overlooked over years because they think it's probably going to sell as a teardown in the mid 1 point something range, which it probably will. But the psychological sales benefit of fixing things is so huge. Like there were a couple spots in the garage, right, detached from the house, but there years and years and years ago was a termite problem. And they fixed it. There's no termites now, but the board was eaten years ago, one beam in the garage, right? And then a couple of pieces on the outside of wood rot. And it's on the outside part of the garage that nobody sees, nobody cares about. It doesn't do anything to the house. It's not structural at all. But if you and Courtney walk through that house this weekend, what are you psychologically going to think when you see those 3 pieces of wood? You're going to say, broke ass, doesn't care. What else is messed up in the house? Excuse me. So and it psychologically, when you put an offer in on the house, you're going to lowball them now by at least 25 grand because psychologically you're like, money pit.
Well, and I think you're doing that anyways, right? It just, the logic stack in your brain is going, whenever you're looking at to buy a property, especially when you know there's going to be a negotiation period, you're naturally starting to look for reasons to not buy that house or discount the house, right? It's just natural. It's what your mind is going to naturally try and do. So why not eliminate that, right?
This house had some wires are exposed that a conduit should have been run. It had a couple pieces of wood rot. It's got a hole in the concrete garage where an old pipe used to go through. That's just there. It's not doing anything. It's just there, right? So, but why? For $800, I can get a handyman there for a couple of days, buy every piece of wood, buy the paint to match the exact color, stucco the deal, make it perfect. So when the buyer walks through this house in a couple weekends, it's not even going to come up.
No,
because it's not a problem, right?
Yeah, there's already enough, bumps and potential pitfalls in a transaction. You don't want to create more, right?
It doesn't make any sense.
Why would you not eliminate those?
Right,
Yeah.
because everything's a psychological game, guys, and
really
people buy with emotions and they justify with logic.
But to your point, that's another video, right? Go walk through other listings in your office. Even if you don't have any, if you're a new agent, right?
Just go
walk through those and just go look through and say, hey, here's what you should look for when if you're out looking at homes on a Saturday. Here's some things to look at and keep in mind.
And if your attitude and energy is fun, be fun.
Yeah.
And say, hey,
absolutely.
Don't tell anybody. This is one of my competition's listing. I'm in it. It's vacant. It's lockbox. They put this thing on the market and look at this. Look at the crown molding. See, it's the paint doesn't even match. And look at the ceiling here. That's a stain. Why the hell wouldn't you spend $1.50 for a thing of paint and cover? That's the dumbest thing in the world, right? And you just start having fun like this, and your audience is going to either engage with it or not, or who cares? Because all you're doing is influencing their brain, so they think about you when it's time to become top of mind.
And another idea is there's an agent that does this. I've seen him, part of my feed with another brokerage, but he looks like he's a very, very, very busy agent with a lot of listings. In reality, it's because people don't always pay attention to all the details. And what he's really doing is he goes to other people's open houses on the weekends, gets their permission to video it, and he videos their open house, and then we'll post that there's an open house, and here's the house, and if you'd like details, call him, right? And he's doing this over and over and over and over. So every single weekend, people are looking that he's got a different open house. So he must be listing a lot of property, right? It's a marketing strategy, but it puts out content.
And side note for our C21 friends, if you're not taking advantage of the free property insights through 21 online, that's dumb.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to look like the master of a neighborhood for sure. Along those same lines there. A couple other things. The business owner strategy, I think, is pretty cool, especially if you think about the relevancy of your sphere. So if you just moved here from Chicago, it might not be as relevant, right? If from a non-paid perspective from your organic audience, but if you're born and raised, you're trying to grow your tribe in a neighborhood, go connect with every single person in that neighborhood. Like, as you put it well, definitely be the mayor of your town.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yep.
I love the touring open houses was on this list too. How about a neighborhood tour, right?
Yeah.
The coolest things about living in blank area are this, blah, 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 blah. Share it. Comment if you think of it. What are the coolest restaurants? What's the best places for happy hours? All these things that get your tribe engaging. It's all about engagement, guys. Getting them to like and comment brings you more relevance in their feed. That's the whole name of this game.
There's one guy that I've seen in my feed that does, what does he call it? It's like Commutes with Chase, I think is his name. It's Commutes with something. I forget the guy's name. But he does commutes from different parts of town. So he'll go to a neighborhood, right, and he'll go during rush hour, and he literally videos himself on the commute to show you how bad traffic is or how good traffic is from a particular area, right, to the airport, to all these points of interest. And he gets a ton of traction on these things because it's practical things that most people don't think about. But you know, if I was going to buy a house knowing that I had to drive downtown, I'd want to go to that area or know what my commute truly is, right? And so it's an interesting way to build a network.
All right, so what we've done is given you 15 to 20 ideas of things to just post. And there's a couple hundred more stuck in these brains here that can come out, but that's irrelevant right now because if we just gave you one, just do one, right? And guys, do it. Do it. Turn your phone on, set it up against all excuses away. I don't have a good camera. You got a phone. I don't have a little tripod. Yeah, you got a bottle of Coke next to your thing, right? All done. Turn it on, the video done, and just do it. Yep. And if it totally sucks, it doesn't, right? You're just going to tell yourself that it does, but it really doesn't. And the funny part is all of your friends know what you look like. They know what you sound like. They know what you dress like. They know what you speak like. So just be you. And it drives me crazy when people try to be something other than what they really are on camera or through your phone, because it's going to come out as an inauthentic, BS, fraudulent way. So just be you. They were already your friends. They like you, right? Yep. And if you turn some of them off, who cares? They weren't really your friends anyway. Get out of there. And then you're going to attract more people because your friends, some of them will start sharing your stuff. It'll share into their feed. Their friends are going to start to like you. Before you know it, your network is so big, and all you need is one good appointment a week, and you're crushing it in a really nice 6-figure world. And then when you're ready to get up to a 7-figure world, you could just keep doing it. And it's going to keep going and going and going and going and going. Because remember, the lifetime value of a customer is how much?
130 grand.
$130,000 every time you get a client. So that's what this is about. This is the future of your business. It's millions of dollars is going to come from doing these little posts that we're talking about. So I hope we brought you some tactical real value and things that we really want you to do. If you need help at all, hit us up, right? We talk with you guys all the time and we love it. I mean, and that's what we're doing.
Some additional resources. So obviously, perfect world, you're going to grab your phone and you're going to make yourself a part of the brand because this is you. You are the business, right? You're not selling a product.
This is not paid. Like, this is your natural market.
This is you. But be self-aware enough to know that if you truly are not going to turn on that camera and film yourself for whatever reason, there are platforms like Canva. So go to Canva, Canva.com. Right. It is a free tool. The mobile app is extremely good. We use that tool every single day. I would highly suggest doing that to create posts and content. You can go to lumen5.com, LUMEN5.com. That will help you with creating videos. You can do that from articles. You can create custom videos. Again, not with you in it, just other clips that they give you for free. There's Pexels, PEXELS.com. That gives you free high-res photos. So all sorts of resources. So there is no excuse. If you are not going to get on camera, you still can go create posts and content and put them on these platforms.
And I'm going to say those are great. Start by going camera, video, reverse, record, right?
I agree. That is the best way. I just know there's people watching that are going to try it. They're going to record themselves 3 times, and then they're going to delete every single one of them because they don't like the filter there's not a filter in the world that's going to make them happy about it. So I agree that is the best way.
Yeah.
But if you are absolutely not going to do it,
Then
that
do
is
it.
still not an excuse to not post.
If you're having a really tough time doing it, call us and we're going to give you so much shit.
I'm literally going to
And
come
we're going
film
to
you.
talk you into doing it.
If you need help, I will personally come film you as long as you're in Tampa.
And you'll thank us for it at the end, guys. It's really important. So that's the value we have today. If you haven't yet, check out if you haven't been to Beggins 3 in a while,
Yep.
It's pretty cool. Beggins3.com, and it's got all of the content that we have sitting on there. And you're going to see the newest post will pop up first.
Yep.
And we've got just always throwing some great things out there for you. Just a rising tide raises all boats.
Yep.
And hoping to help you grow your business, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you next week.
See you.